Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about a potential fight between Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa. Costa's been petitioning for this fight, campaigning for it. Kind of makes sense. We might see it. So let's dive into this matchup because it's a great one. Alright, so first let's start with Robert Whittaker. Of course, former UFC middleweight champ, phenomenal fighter. In my opinion, one of the best to ever do it. Some of Robert's signature techniques. Well, on the feet, he loves to throw that lunging right hand. He covers massive distance, launches that thing, leads with it with no setup. And Whittaker is so fast and speedy with his coverage of distance that he lands it. Some more signature stuff from Whittaker, the jab right high kick or low kick. He loves to throw those sequences and has a lot of success with them. The 1-2 low kick is another. Whittaker also mixes takedowns with his strikes. Since he strikes with a lot of forward momentum, he'll throw a jab, change levels, score a takedown. So a few tidbits on Robert's game. Whittaker's amazing at covering distance. He explodes into strikes rapidly, throws a nice variety of strikes and combinations at you. He's really good at coming in at an angle or off center line, avoiding counters and strikes. In my opinion, underrated defense. Robert also has vicious ground and pound, and he's a high pressure fighter, relentless pressure. Moving on to Paulo Costa. Well, Costa uses his size, strength, and weight so well. The guy's a tank, he knows it, that's how he fights. He really anchors down and sits on his strikes. He has a nasty lead right cross, which he often follows up with blistering left hooks. He just whips those left hooks really fast. One of his best weapons standing. Costa has great body kicks. Going back to his left hooks, he could throw a mean left lead one. No setup, just uncorks it. How about his body work? Nasty right hooks to the body. He throws this specific sequence. Left hook up top, right hook to the body, back up to the head, left hook. Look for those when he herds a guy against the cage. He gets you to the fence and unleashes combos to the head and body. Costa's whole game is to walk you down. He sits on everything, every strike damaging, forward pressure, physically and mentally tries to break you. The guy's a juggernaut that tries to herd you against the cage, corner you, and that's where he could really do damage and do work with power shots. Alright, so the matchup. Key factor for Whittaker to win this fight, movement. Luckily for him, he has amazing footwork and movement, always in motion, always chaining things together. That's going to give Paulo Costa problems. Also, Robert Whittaker's speed. In my opinion, he's considerably faster than Paulo Costa. It looked like Paulo Costa has a vulnerability to leg kicks. Israel, in my opinion, showed the blueprint. Robert Whittaker's a very smart fighter. I'm sure he studied that, and leg kicks would be a main weapon in his arsenal to break Paulo Costa down. I would expect Whittaker to mix it up, go for takedowns, not necessarily to land them, but just to make Paulo Costa work, sap some of his energy. I think Whittaker's mindset would be to win the fight on the feet, where I think he knows he has a speed advantage. For Paulo Costa, it's imperative he figures out how to cut Robert Whittaker off. He pretty much uses the same game plan every fight, and because he's so big and powerful, because he has a good gas tank for a big guy, he's successful. He just keeps stalking, throwing things with a lot of power, and he chips away, gets guys to succumb to the pressure, and when they start slowing down from the strikes or from the cardio depleting, probably due to the strikes, specifically the body shots, that's when he gets you against the cage and he just batters you. I think it's going to be a tall task to do this to Robert Whittaker, but that's pretty much his only option, because if he stands in the center of that cage and tries to go shot for shot with Whittaker, he's going to lose that gunfight because of Robert's speed. Again, Robert has that style where he just explodes forward, uncorks something, but he's like slightly off a center line to the left or right, and he kind of like slides past you, avoiding strikes. I just don't think Paulo Costa is fast enough to catch Robert Whittaker with something big. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it's going to kind of be an uphill battle for Paulo Costa. I don't think Costa is going to be able to get a takedown, so he's going to be forced to stand with Robert, and if he can't corner him, he's going to have a long night. So for this fight, if it were to happen, I'm gonna have to favor Robert Whittaker. I think he's too fast, too good overall. He has a high fight IQ. The speed again is gonna be a big problem for Costa, and I think he'll pick him apart. We'll have to see what happens, guys. Maybe this one does get announced. Very possible. You guys let me know in the comment section who wins this fight and why. Would love to read your thoughts on this matchup. If this is your first time at the channel and you enjoyed this segment, consider hitting that sub button. Like and share the video, super important. Helps the channel grow. Appreciate you guys. And until the next one, you all take care.